All right, everybody, welcome to the Let It Fly show, live inside the Let It Fly Sports Bar in the Capital District, where, as always, you can get great deals every single day because the specials and the happy hour and all of that is available here at the downtown location. We also, of course, have the La Vista Let It Fly, La Vista, the Let It Fly out west, and then, of course, opening in Lincoln as well. I am Michael Severe. We have a very special show for you today. I want to remind you, it's always brought to you by Bud Light, where they make things easy to drink, easy to enjoy, easy for you to have a great time while you're watching your sports, hanging out with your friends, and drinking your Bud Light as well. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. And don't forget about, because it's getting warm out there, even though it's a little chillier today, we're taping on a Tuesday with a high about like 62. It's getting warmer. It'll be warmer by the end of the week. So you don't forget about the Red Bull Watermelon Margarita that's available as well here at this location and other locations of Let It Fly as well. So on the show today, I mentioned it is a special guest. They're all special, right? Without a doubt. Anyway, we're going to be chatting with current Alabama quarterback, former Millard South record-breaking quarterback, Jett Thomalla. He's been already at Bama. He went early. It was an early entry. Took part in the spring, their A game. That's what Alabama calls their spring game. Took part in all of that. And it wasn't on TV this year. So probably all you saw was some highlights. And he was good. He was 4 or 5 for like 40-something yards. But he'll be joining us to talk more about his recruitment. If you remember, he was really not getting recruited at all. He had his junior year, which was a breakout year. We'll go over this. And then all of a sudden, he's getting offers, Iowa State offers. He commits to them. Nebraska's really not in the picture, even though he's been going to Nebraska camps, and we'll talk about how that worked. And then all of a sudden, Alabama comes in. He commits to Alabama. And while all that's going on for him, his mother's going through cancer treatment. So we'll get in all of that with him, and we will chat with the current quarterback at Alabama, former Millard South record-breaking quarterback, Jett Thomalla, when we come back here on the Let It Fly Show. All right, welcome back to Let It Fly Show. Our special guest this week, currently quarterback at Alabama, of course, record-setting quarterback at Millard South, two-time state champion, Jett Thomalla joining us. How you doing, man?
I've been great. How about you?
I'm good. How long are you in town for?
I've been here for like 2 weeks, and I'll go back home on Sunday, or go back to Tuscaloosa on Sunday.
And once that break is over, are you gone for until next year?
There's a couple more breaks, but I'll probably just, stay put in Tuscaloosa and work out and all that stuff. So.
You played, obviously, in a lot of big games. Mm-hmm. But what was it like the first time you're behind the center in an Alabama uniform for a scrimmage? What was the feelings like for you?
Yeah, I'd say like that was pretty surreal. Coach was like, you've been wanting to do this your whole life, so just go do it. And it was great. It was just awesome opportunity, and it was just something I looked forward to my whole life, and got it done. Was that first play a run play, or did you throw the ball? You remember? I think it was like a little quick, get into it, drive play.
Yeah.
A little quick. A
little smoke
RPO
or
quick little spot route. Or just hit it route. So.
Why was it important for you to go early to get there for the spring?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my teammates were doing it, so just to get to know them, get everything established, and then also just to get my feet under me. Just some of the kids who are coming in the summer, I feel like it's just gonna, it's just not gonna be as easy for them. They're just gonna have to get going a little later, and just to get the offense down, that was just such a big thing for me.
Jett Thomalla joining us on the Let It Fly show. So Nebraska is obviously a football crazed state. Mm-hmm. Alabama, Tuscaloosa, what's that been like for you in terms of just the craziness of it being Alabama?
Yeah, you can tell like when you go out, on the strip, like just during the day, like fans are just recognizing you, just a bunch of love towards that side.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to, just experience and just be someone that people look up to, and just kind of got to carry yourself a little different.
Yeah. What about school so far? Do you know yet what you want to major in?
Yeah,
do you have any of that stuff now?
I've been doing business, so I took 6 classes, so it was a little different.
You took 6 classes in the spring semester?
Yeah, like right when I got
That's
there,
a lot.
Just put you right into the fire.
Yeah, like 18 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible. Yeah, you got to ease in with all the spring going on.
Go right into it.
That's pretty cool. Let's go back to how you got to this point, right? Mm-hmm. So you're in 9th grade. What was kind of that hope goal when you were a freshman? What did Jett Thomalla want to be when he got to high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like a late bloomer. So like freshman year, I wasn't the biggest, strongest, and didn't really have the strongest arm either.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of taking it step by step. Wasn't really pushing things, and then I feel like I just kept working hard, outworking people, and then I kept getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
So then it just panned out from there.
What was the biggest growth spurt for you? Like, what was the most you grew over a course of maybe being away from school?
Uh, I'd say maybe this, like junior to senior year,
Mm-hmm.
maybe gained like 20 pounds. So I was like maybe 195, and then at the end of my senior year, I was like 235. Now I'm down to 225. So
And how tall?
6'4", 6'5".
Closer to 6'5" now.
Yeah.
I know. When you came through the door, I was like, he's taller than he was. When you go through that kind of thing, and somebody hasn't seen you in a little while, what's that like?
Yeah, just like when I come back, they're like, "Dang, did you get taller?
Yeah.
You obviously got bigger. You've obviously been in the weight room." But
Yeah.
yeah, just everyone pretty much says that.
Let's go back to 2023. You get your chance to start. What was that like for that first year when you're really the guy, when you're QB1?
Yeah, it was different. I was a sophomore. I didn't really have like the aura around me to the team where the team usually follows the quarterback. I was kind of just like the sophomore, and
Yeah.
the seniors were like the leaders. So I kind of just had to step up in that part because the team was counting on me.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much everyone was great players on that team, and I was like the guy who, if I played well, then we can win it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, still had a good season, and I was happy how I did
Yeah.
sophomore year.
So that year, you lose a couple games,
Mhm.
right? What was the off season like for you between that and your junior year? Because you mentioned all the talent you had on the team.
Yeah.
You have two disappointing losses. You get knocked out of the playoffs, and you go into 24. What was that off season like?
Yeah, I took a big jump going into my junior year. So just all that work throughout the summer. Really never it was just taking days off and stuff like that. I played basketball obviously,
Mhm.
but then after that, I was just straight football, straight weight room, just ready to be a better player and try to get some offers and stuff like that.
Yeah, the offer part, because I think most people look at you and they go, "Okay, he went to Alabama. He probably had a ton of offers before that."
Mhm.
When did they first start? Was it after your junior year, or when you start getting those offers?
It was way after my junior year. It was late. You know how OVs are like
Mhm.
June, July. So I didn't get my Bama offer till like July when like the OVs were happening. So I didn't take my OV till the Tennessee game, which was like week 6, 8, I don't know, something like that. So
Yeah.
I took the OV during the season because I got the offer pretty late. And I
Mhm.
was just taking my time deciding where I was going to go. So it was a pretty late offer.
Yeah, you were going to go to Iowa State. You were committed to Iowa
Yep.
State. What was it about Iowa State, Matt Campbell, that program that made you decide that you were going to commit to them initially?
Yeah, like you said, I just love Matt Campbell. He's a great guy. Coach Waters, the quarterback coach, I liked him a lot too. So
Iowa Western kid.
yeah, just the relationships I made with them. Pretty
Yeah,
much that.
yeah.
A lot of Nebraska kids were going there too. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. When you have other guys, Maureen Jackson was originally committed there, right?
Mhm.
You have guys like that. You're thinking about going as kind of a team, as a
Yeah.
group of guys.
yeah, AJ was already committed there. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Just having someone I've grown up with. Been my best friend since 7th grade, something like that. So
Yeah.
just having him going there was pretty easy to make that decision.
So that's the answer. I was going to ask the question about how you guys have such a good
Mhm.
good connection. Well, you've known him your whole life.
Yeah, we started playing together in 7th grade, so we've always had that connection.
Yeah.
Isaac played with him in 7th grade. Owen, Zach, pretty much all the guys that were like the main stars. I pretty much played with most of them.
Yeah, Jett Thomalla joining us here on Let It Fly show. The recruiting knock on Marion was not enough speed.
hmm
When you hear that as a criticism, as a guy who played with him for a long time, what do you think of it?
He's a young kid for his grade. He's a lot younger than all of us, like almost a year. So he should still be in high school pretty much. But just he's still getting faster. I just worked out with him the other day, and I was like, "Wow, have you gotten faster?" And
Yeah,
he has. So just a guy who's gonna keep on learning. A hard worker, probably the hardest worker I've ever been around. So
yeah.
just a guy that's always gonna be a great player.
And he's going to Penn State.
Yeah,
So
he's
I
at Penn
assume
State.
he's pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a chance to play against Nebraska at some point too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do play.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
I
so
think in
he's
2 years.
excited
Yeah,
for that,
yeah. So you went to a number of camps in Lincoln, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Passing camps, those kind of camps like that. What was it? Was there ever a conversation or a serious conversation about offering you there?
Yeah, a little bit. They just said, we got a great guy in state, which was, talking about me. So
Mm-hmm.
just keep working hard, and maybe the offer will come. But
Yeah.
So,
Was that before or after Iowa State offered?
that was before, I think, like my going into my junior year, sophomore year camps, like the
Yeah.
junior year summer, pretty much, where I had the good sophomore year, and then after junior year I did well that year, so that's when I
So that
got
was
some
Matt
offers.
Rule in 23,
Yeah.
the summer of that. When you're having that conversation, did you feel like that maybe you'd get an offer from there eventually based on the conversations you had?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Just didn't really know, and I mean, it's not something I can control, so I didn't focus
Yeah.
on it too much.
What did your family grow up Nebraska fans? What
Yeah.
or
Yeah, my dad was always a Nebraska fan, so
yeah.
yeah, pretty much the whole family was. Yeah.
Interesting. Jett Thomalla joining us here on Let It Fly show. So let's go back to that junior year because you guys play that team from Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lose that game. How much of a motivation was it after that loss we're going to go out and beat up everybody else after dropping that
Yeah.
first game?
Yeah, I kind of said something to the team after that. I remember I was like, we lost this one to a really good team in Arizona, and we're going to go to Nebraska, and because of this, and we played a great team. I said we were going to go to Nebraska and not lose another game, which is kind of what happened. So
Yeah, and not lose another game that year or the next year.
Mm-hmm.
That senior year, you're beating people. Usually it's over before halftime or halftime. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay focused when you're up 40 points in the second quarter?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't play didn't play any fourth quarters at all, and then I played a little bit in the third. So
Yeah.
just cheering on the younger kids, and in practice, just had to stay motivated, knowing that we were going to play a team and beat them by 60. We were kind of practicing for the teams like West Side and
Yeah.
Championship. We were just kind of looking forward to that the whole entire season.
Yeah, because they beat you guys the year before, right?
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year,
Yep.
they beat you. We had the 2 losses.
Yep, they
And-
beat us, and then
Yeah, And in 24, you guys beat
us.
one through, went all the way through to the
Yeah.
final and won it, and then you get them back again in 2025. That team, we talk about how many of those guys went Division One. Would you say greatest team in the history of Nebraska?
Yeah, obviously I would say that.
Yeah.
Everyone on our team would say that.
Yeah.
Probably not, but there's been a lot of great teams. I know West Side, my sophomore year was really good.
They were really good.
I feel like that would be a really good matchup, but obviously I would say that we would win.
Yeah.
They would probably say they would win, but yeah, I know there's been a lot of great teams. Even like the really old teams were really good, and
Yeah. Well, that had been the year they had the Rezacks were still there,
Benning
and Benning and the running backs and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How close are you to that whole group, the Omaha group? So I'm assuming you guys, when you were younger, you played together, you went to the same camps together, all that kind of stuff.
You saying like the
Just like you named like Benning and the Rezacks and those guys,
Yeah.
even though you didn't go to the same high schools. I'm assuming that there's kind of a close knit.
Yeah, I don't ever like work out with them, but it's just like mutual respect, just because we're all great players, and just respect kind of our grinds, and we all know what goes into being a D1 football player, so just kind of respect each other.
What was the feeling like at the end of that senior year? I mean, God, you won was it 56-0 or 49-0 or something like that? You know the game is over. What's that feeling like on the sideline, knowing 2-time champ and you got all the records?
Yeah, I felt great. Just finishing out strong with guys I've been playing with for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, the records were cool, but I wish we kind of would have had a team that would have challenged us a little bit. But
Yeah. We were talking to former basketball coach over at Central, and he talked about that. Like there was points where really only like 3 or 4 games the whole year it was competitive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for him. He thought it wasn't as fun as it would have been. It'd have been
for
nice
sure.
to have that other team that could compete at that level with you guys.
Yeah, sometimes when you go out in the second quarter, you're just like, man, I wish I could play. Against West Side, I had 7 touchdowns because I could actually play and keep
Right.
playing. So that was,
Yeah, because they scored like 21 on you guys.
yeah,
no one had
they
anything.
kept it.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept it close for the first quarter, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of like a game where we knew we were going to play, so we kind of practiced like we were going to do that. So.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I remember they had they either had a punt return or they had a kickoff return that kind of brought them within 21.
Yeah,
And then you
remember that.
guys went off and finished them. I want to ask you about another guy, and Deshaun Prince, who I had a chance to watch over at Central because my kids go there. And he's going to go to Iowa Western, right? And if he can get his grade straight, how good can Deshaun Prince be?
Yeah, he's a freak, man. I'd say he was the most athletic kid on our team. He's going to go to Iowa Western, and I think he'll be a day one starter. 1 or 2 years, he'll be at a D1 school. I feel like it was just that rough start with grades,
Yeah.
like you said, and then at Millard South, he really locked in. Just became around the people that like the people and players we are and have at Millard South. He kind of just came around us and it just changed his whole mindset. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
a great player.
At least twice, you guys had teams that forfeited instead of playing you guys. What did you think about that? What was your feeling about a team deciding to not play you guys?
It was frustrating a little bit, but I understood kind of why they would. I wouldn't want to play us either if I was
Yeah.
the school I don't know, I don't even want to say it, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we were trying to get another game. It obviously never happened, so we kind of just used it as a week to get better. Had
Yeah.
some hard conditioning days and we kind of just scrimmaged each other, which was probably better than actually going and playing a team like that.
If you could change something, say you were in charge of high school football in the state, is there something that needs to be changed, you think, to kind of bring it a little more even?
I think they're changing something this year, right, with like the districts.
Yeah, they're
So,
kind of almost like a big A. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the teams that were good this year are going to play each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're doing the right things. Obviously, like the out-of-state games it's just not easy to happen. Like,
Yeah.
we were lucky to have one. We tried to get another, and there was already like a rule in place where we couldn't, which kind of sucked. But
Yeah.
the rules are the rules.
So Trey Taylor's coming in to kind of take your place. Have you had a chance to talk to him and meet him?
Yeah, a little bit. He DM'd me about like coming, like should he? I was just giving some advice.
Yeah.
And stuff. But I know he's a really great player and a good kid. So I'm excited to see what he'll do this year.
What are your thoughts about that, though? Because I'm assuming the guys behind you were hoping that
Yeah.
they'd play. He's coming in to take it over. Is that kind of a weird feeling?
Yeah, there was a freshman under me. He was I think he did transfer to West Side actually. So he went to West Side and then he thought he was obviously going to play. And
Right.
then Trey was talking about coming to Millard South. Obviously, you can't say no to a transfer in a 4-star quarterback like
Right,
Trey.
right.
So, but yeah, he was a little sad. But I feel like high school football this year will be like evened out, so it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. I mentioned all the records you broke. You were single season completions, passing yards, touchdowns, and offensive yards. Were you aware as the season was going along that you were approaching these these records?
Yeah, I kind of was. I wasn't really focused on it too much. But I remember one game, I think it was Millard North game, Alabama quarterback coach, who's now not the quarterback coach anymore, but he was there to watch me, and Coach Mendy came up to me and he was like, Jett, if you throw 5 touchdowns today, you have the state record. And I was like, really? And so I didn't even know about that
wow.
one. But
Yeah.
I didn't focus on him too much. I just kind of figured out like either during the game or after the game that I got him. So
Yeah. Did you feel like you put more pressure on yourself when those coaches were in town watching you?
not really. I feel like it was just kind of like a harder test, a little bit. But I always kind of played good. When the coaches would come, I always threw really good. So it was just like just pressure on me, and I feel like it made me just rip it even more.
Give me kind of a rundown of the people who helped you get here. Obviously, mom and dad get you to practice and get up early, and you got coaches. You go to Warren Academy, that kind of thing. Can you kind of walk us through the people that helped get you here?
Yeah, I would say it starts with my mom and dad. I don't know, they're just the biggest blessing in my life. They were always there for me, from freshman to senior year. They were just the biggest contributors to my whole entire journey. And then I'd say Coach Wiz, he was kind of the reason why I went to Millard South. He came my freshman year, so that was a big thing for him. And then he left after the junior year.
Right.
And then I'd say Coach Mendy, he was always my quarterback coach, who's now the head coach at Millard South. So he was always like a leadership guy. He didn't know. Sorry, he didn't know. He didn't know like mechanics and stuff like that because he never was a quarterback. But he was a big like leadership guy, so he always told me leadership. It always starts with the quarterback and all that stuff. And then I'd say Warren Academy, John Tegland. I've been going to him since I don't know, since I was in like 8th grade. So he's kind of the guy who's mechanics. Like he's been the big mechanics guy for me. So
Yeah. What is I always talk about how, obviously you got to be upright and you got to be looking down the field and the rotation of your shoulder and wrist and all that stuff. But in terms of your lower body, what do you think your biggest strength is in terms of throwing the ball lower body wise?
Yeah, like you said, the rotational part, just using your legs first, and then your arm comes through after that. I mean, just the guys that throw with their arms only either are going to have a sore arm or just not as powerful.
Yeah.
So I'd say legs is a big part, and I feel like I use my legs pretty well and just can keep on getting better and better.
Yeah. You mentioned your mom earlier. She was going through cancer treatment. Was that going into your senior year? When did that happen?
Yeah, that was my senior year. I think it was the summer before, or maybe even during the season when that was happening. But yeah, she's all good now. So.
Yeah. What was that like though for you emotionally?
Yeah.
Because you're out there, you got to go to class, you got to do your football and everything else, but then at the same time, your mom's going through treatment.
Yeah, just kind of thinking about her. It never really got too bad, so thank God for that. But it was just kind of in the back of my head, something that just kind of kept me going, and just thinking about her. So
Yeah, Jett Thomalla joining us here on the Let It Fly show. So you have your freshman year coming up. Obviously, the season starts beginning of September. What are your goals?
yeah, my goals are kind of just to help the team in any way I can. If I play, if I don't, I'll probably redshirt. But
Like running scout team and giving them a good
yeah,
practice, good looks.
I probably won't run scout team.
Yeah.
But I'll just be, I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be the third string guy.
Yeah.
The two guys battling right now are really good players. So just see how that pans out and do whatever I can do.
Yeah. So your mind's already set, knowing that there are two guys in front of you. You got to work hard, but there's a good chance that you're going to redshirt.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm not gonna go into it thinking I'm gonna be the third string guy. I mean, I'm gonna go into it thinking I can be the starter. So and then whatever happens, happens.
Let's get some rapid fire questions. First of all, why number 15?
I mean, I wanted to be 4. Obviously, there was already a number 4.
Yeah.
And then I was just picking through some, 14. I could have been 2. Could have been 15. So I was just like, 15 is a quarterback number.
Yep.
A lot of quarterbacks wear it. So I was just like, I'll just go with 15 this year.
Makes sense. What road stadium in the SEC are you looking forward to seeing the most?
I went to Athens for a concert. That was pretty cool to see their stadium.
Yeah.
But I'd say like Tennessee, I've heard is pretty crazy.
It's huge.
So either Tennessee, LSU, or Georgia.
Florida, put Florida on that list too.
All right.
Florida's loud.
Really?
Florida is they get into it.
yeah,
And they sing the whole time and they're fun. So LSU's great. I'm from Louisiana, so I've been a lot of LSU games, but
all of them will be challenging.
yeah,
So.
no doubt at all. Gaming system? Do you like a favorite gaming system?
Yeah. I played PS5 quite a bit.
What's your game?
I like to play PGA golf. That one's pretty fun.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I've never had that answer.
2K.
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
All those.
Those are the regular ones. No Madden?
I play NCAA.
Okay, and that makes sense. You play with yourself? Yeah, you have yourself.
Not yet.
You game because
Yeah.
but they have. I was looking at some of the stuff. They had some of the guys that are incoming freshmen from Nebraska already on the game.
Really?
Yeah, I guess you can like load it or there's something you can do.
I haven't done that. I'll just wait till I'm on there next year.
Yeah, last time I played was '94, so I don't. It wasn't any of that stuff going on. Who's your favorite musical artist?
Rod Wave.
Who?
Rod Wave.
Oh,
You know who
what
that
is it? Is it hip hop? What is it?
Yeah, it's rap.
It's rap music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young Boy. I like Young Boy.
I know
like
him.
Morgan Wallen came to Bryant Denny for a concert. That was really good.
I bet.
Kind of made me a fan. So.
Yeah, he puts on a hell of a concert. I've seen that. It's your last meal. What are you going to order?
I'd probably say steak.
Burger. No, just
I like steak. My dad makes good steak, so.
yeah. Rare, medium rare.
Medium rare is usually my go-to.
There you go. Good call by you. I don't even know if kids still watch TV, but are you watching any are there any favorite shows you have?
I kind of just throw on a movie sometimes, just look at the top Netflix top 10.
Sure.
But I like the Hangover series. That one's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like the comedy ones. So.
Yeah, you're a comedy guy. Who's your favorite teammate?
Alabama or high school?
High school.
I'd probably say Sean. Honestly, Sean was just a chill guy. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, really laid back too. Last question: who is I mean, obviously only been there for a little while, but who's the greatest Alabama player of all time? How much have you
I
studied?
would say Devontae Smith.
Pretty good. He won a Heisman. Yeah.
We watch film on him, and it's just like crazy. But
Think about it, dude's like 160 pounds too.
Yeah, he just flies.
It was incredible. Yeah, he was. I vote for the Heisman. There was not much of a debate for that at all, for voting for him at all. So, good luck in the future, and when you go back, and thanks for taking the time.
For sure.
It.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jett Thomalla. All right, we appreciate Jett Thomalla for coming in and chatting with us. As I mentioned, you got a couple quarterbacks in front of him. We'll see how it goes. But the way college football is now, with the injury situation, and you really have to have 2 quarterbacks and sometimes 3. So with some blowouts, maybe he gets in some games. But we'll see. I think the future is bright for Jett. With his size, he's still getting bigger. Last time I saw him, he wasn't as big as he is now. So I'm sure he will do well. Other sports happening right now with Nebraska. It's a big weekend because you've got Thursday, Nebraska kicking off the Super Regional for softball there in Bolden Stadium in Lincoln, playing Oklahoma State. That kicks off at, I think it's 5 o'clock. Yeah. No, it's 8. It's late. The second game is at 4. So 8 o'clock at night, ESPN2, obviously huge series. It'll be the first time Nebraska can get to the College World Series if they win it since 2013. So it'd be a huge, huge win. They can get up 1-0 against Oklahoma State. You've got the Malin pitcher who is local, who obviously knows Jordy very well, and they go back and forth. It'll be an interesting series to check out. And then Nebraska baseball gets started at the Big Ten tournament just right around the corner from here over at Charles Schwab Field. That will get started on Friday at 5 o'clock. Nebraska plays whoever comes out of that side. So they have a 2-round bye. You have teams that are playing on Tuesday when we're taping this, Wednesday, and then, of course, Nebraska plays on Friday. If they can advance to Sunday against UCLA, there'll be a nice weather day. You'll have the number 1 seed against the number 2 seed. It could be spectacular there at Charles Schwab Field. So that's a big weekend for Nebraska sports. Special thanks to Jett Thomalla for coming on, the Alabama quarterback, former Millard South quarterback. Also, thank you to Caleb for pushing all the buttons and taking care of that, and for Stable Gray as well, taking care of making sure this gets edited and posted. And if you're going to check it out, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, or if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It really helps the podcast out. Subscribe to it. Like the ones you like. If you don't like it, don't do anything. Just leave it the way it is, right? Subscribe and like. We appreciate you being a part of it. And also thank you again to Bud Light for being our presenting sponsor, making everything easy. Watching sports, drinking Bud Light, easy to drink and easy to enjoy, of course, as well. We appreciate you joining us for this week's Let It Fly. We'll be back next week with more Let It Fly Show.